All right, we're back.
Hey,
Hey, gravy train.
gravy
Yeah,
train.
we're back.
Uh,
The show with hotter wings and hotter questions. The Graveyard Shift Movie Podcast. This week, it was Maverick's pick, and he's not here. He murdered his girlfriend, and we had to pass him along. That was a shitty joke. Anyway, he's not here. He picked Horns from 2014, starring Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe, which I still think is the first thing he made after Harry Potter ended. And I think that was his trying to be, I'm not Harry Potter anymore. But anyway, that's what he picked. I'm gonna specify this with I don't think.
Specify? Is that the word you wanted?
I don't know. Anyway, no, it was like pre. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't think this is a bad movie. I'm gonna say that. Right? I don't think it's a bad movie. I think some people. Maverick said he liked it when he watched it. Who knows when he watched it forever ago? I think people could enjoy this movie. I don't think it was for me though. I'm gonna give it a 5 because, like I said, I don't think it was a bad movie, but it wasn't for me. So Tyler, what is your ranking?
I'm gonna give it like a 6,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna say this wasn't a horror at all in any way.
The only like in the middle-ish, maybe there was some horror, but yeah, it's more of like a fantasy mystery.
I made a joke when Maverick picked his movie about it being a romance comedy,
Yeah,
whatever. And I have a feeling that this movie was written by someone who writes romantic comedies.
it's not. Well, the screenplay, I
Yeah.
can tell you who, because apparently this is based on a book written by Joe Hill. Which, if that name sounds familiar, that's because it's the name that Stephen King's son goes under to not be known as Stephen King's son.
You ever seen that movie What a Man Wants?
I know it. I don't think I ever watched it.
I think it's like Mel Gibson or something, where he can like read women's mind to see what they're thinking or
Oh,
something. I don't know if that's the name of the movie,
what
but
was the
this is
one with
like,
Steve Harvey in them? Oh, that was Think Like a Man. It's not.
yeah, things like a mess. But like, that's what this movie is, and it's like,
I
what?
I
And there's just a weird twist on it. But
I thought it reminded me a lot of Preacher, just because of one thing. But anyway, hey, spoiler warning for Horns. We'll get into it more, but everything's getting ruined. Don't say we didn't warn you. And
I keep thinking you're saying horns funny, but I guess it's just a weird word to say.
yeah,
Because you're like, horns! And I'm
yeah,
like, this guy's saying it dumb. It's horns. And I'm like,
yeah,
well, that sounds the same as what he's saying. And
yeah.
I was
So
like, it's
yeah.
not just him.
First point off this movie is after the credits get done, the very first line of the movie is, "Are you horny?" And I was like, "Fuck you," because guys get it. The movie's called Horns. So anyway, what was I
So I'm going
talking
to say
about? We were
something.
gonna say something when Preacher. Oh yeah, we'll get into that. Go ahead, say
I
whatever you're
think
gonna say.
Daniel Radcliffe that's his name, right? Daniel Radcliffe,
Uh
Harry
huh.
Potter. Horrible choice for this movie.
Oh, he was god awful. He was
But
terrible in this movie.
I
Like,
think there's certain scenes in this that they threw in parts just to make it seem more adult, but this whole movie seemed like it was made for
oh,
13-year-old girls.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a scene towards the end where the guy's like, "I fucked her tight pussy,"
I fucked her tight little pussy. And
and
I
you're
was
like,
like, what?
"Where did this come from?"
Yeah,
Right? And there was like another in the beginning, and I don't remember what it
I
was.
remember what it was. But,
But like they just put like these couple scenes in there, so they like this is an adult movie,
yeah.
and like even like the fight scenes and stuff, and there's not many.
No, it was like 2 or something like that.
They seem real kiddie and cartoonish,
Yeah.
and some of the CGI snakes looked like I thought they were rubber snakes, but they weren't.
The CGI snakes were, they weren't the greatest looking at times. But,
So he's trying to get away from the Harry Potter movies with this, right?
yeah.
Like move past it or whatever, or continue working
Uh
or
huh.
whatnot. And in Harry Potter, he can talk to snakes. And in this,
Yeah, he can talk to
And I'm like,
snakes.
what are you doing, bud?
Yeah, he really wasn't good in this movie. Like, I think he does fucking Harry Potter, that last one, I think he's amazing in. Uh, but to be fair, I guess he had what, 14 years or something to
Learn the
fucking
role.
perfect that role, yeah. But maybe it's because, like I said, I think this is his first. Maybe he's just trying to like not be Harry Potter and try to get into a new acting. But he was really bad in this movie. Like everyone else, I thought did okay. The guy who plays the girlfriend's dad, I thought was really good in his.
Well, that guy's just killer on everything.
Yeah,
right?
but
and then the other dad, Dexter's dad,
yeah, Dexter's dad, yeah,
killer and everything too.
and
well, no, Mortal Kombat 2, he played Raiden.
he did play, yeah.
So maybe not killer and everything,
Yeah.
but pretty good, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, Daniel Radcliffe by far, which sucks because he's the lead character, was the weakest link of this movie, I think. With his fun fact, Shia LaBeouf was originally who they wanted to be in the role, which who knows how that would have went, but it's fun to imagine.
I think yeah.
So
I don't know. I thought the girlfriend was weak. I thought everybody in this movie was weak. I don't know.
What? Yeah. What the fuck? Oh, my light.
Oh,
It got switched to low mode. Did it die?
it's just the battery doing it.
No, let me hit. It's back on. Let's see if it'll stay back on. It might be dead. I don't remember the last time I charged it. But first off, my biggest complaint with this movie is the fact that the mystery of who killed the girlfriend, it's not a mystery. It's the easiest thing to figure out. 20 minutes in, I messaged you guys, and I was like, I know who did it. And like, it's the fucking the lawyer best friend.
Well, I can't believe you spoiled that.
Yeah, well, we're in spoilers.
This is a spoiler, yeah.
Yeah.
And it is half the movie him fighting that dude. So.
Yeah, which I originally. So he sits down at the table and he's like, I didn't do it. And the brother was over there looking real guilty. And so, first thought, you're like, the brother. But then as soon as he starts talking about, Lee is the only one who believes I didn't kill her and everything. And we've been friends for, as soon as he was saying that, I went, well, Lee's the one who killed her. Like, before he even came on screen. And then you get all the flashbacks of Lee being like, you like that girl from school? And he's like, I like her too and shit. And you're like, oh. Which, yeah. So, but it's so obvious that Lee's the killer. I thought they were going to pull like a switcheroo. And Lee wasn't. It's so obvious that, like, everyone... Daniel Radcliffe grows horns, the movie... And no one really cares. It just sort of makes people say what their deepest thoughts are and like what they really want. And he can like, because I say it reminds me of Preacher. He can be like, well, why don't you do this? And then they'll just do it,
Well, sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. And so then he goes to Lee and he's like, I got fucking horns. And Lee's like, what horns? And so then he's like, well, it must be that it only works on bad people. Good people can't see it. And I was like, you fucking idiot. Like, the only guy that can't see the horns and, And so, it's so obvious that I was like, Lee... It got to the point I was like, Lee's not going to be the killer. I was like, someone else is going to be the killer. But no, it's Lee.
So, they did that thing with the brother. They tried to frame the brother up to be the killer. And I think they did that just because it was so fucking obvious who the killer was.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, here, look at this. And you're like, what? So I know it's real early. What?
The light went out again, yeah.
But I'm going to do the best of worst
Oh, okay. Then. Best of worst of. Go ahead.
First of all, before we get to best of worst of.
Okay.
Daniel Radcliffe is just a murderer. He kills that waitress for no reason.
Does he kill her? I thought he just left her, like, mangled and shit.
Well, I mean, that's almost worse, right?
Yeah, because his whole thing is, like, you won't be pretty anytime soon or whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought you left her alive, but, like, disfigured.
Yeah, I think she did, yeah. But she was all scarred up or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Because this movie plays on this whole like religious atonement type thing, like God and whatever.
Yeah, well, they try to make it because the lady is like saying Daniel Radcliffe. She's telling the cops that she saw Daniel Radcliffe pull the girlfriend into his car and do all this shit. And she's like, once he gets the horn, she's like, yeah, I'm lying. I don't care. I'm going to be on TV.
That was the other line where she was like, I'm going to get my tits done.
My tits, yeah. And so it's like, so that's supposed to make you, oh, she's a bad person or whatever. So then when Daniel Radcliffe fucking 25 snakes on her and viciously bite her, you're supposed to feel, like, yeah, get her. Which then, that's when I said that that's the only part I can think of where it's horror-y. Because, it like, she puts down the visor and he's in the back, like, with the snake. And it's like, it makes the noise. But anyway, go ahead.
Couldn't he just use his horn power and say, hey, don't lie?
Yeah, why wasn't he just telling the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, wait, what? I was like, oh, okay, this guy's just a monster. And he gets rewarded for it. That's great. So, all right. Let's get on the best of worst stuff.
Okay.
I'm going to start with my best of, because I usually focus on the negative. I thought it was really cool when he took the necklace off and he had wings.
Yeah.
The whole, I don't know how religious you are or whatever, but like Satan fell from heaven, blah, blah, blah. And that's what they were trying to do with him, is that it's him, like being like Satan. It's also why they gave him a pitchfork.
Yeah, throughout the whole movie. That, spoiler alert, he didn't use to kill anyone, but ends up killing him in the end. So
Yeah. Yep. But I thought that scene was really cool when he was like transitioning.
That was cool, yeah.
But my least favorite part, and it's a huge hole in the plot and the whole movie. So his brother gets framed for killing his girlfriend. And like he wakes up and he has a bloody rock and he's got blood on him, right?
Yeah, and he was drunk and shit the night before, and yeah.
So where does he go next after that?
He goes to the fucking, like, the lake or whatever.
The lumber place they all go to. Yeah, but where did they find Daniel Radcliffe the morning after when he was drunk? And
the lumber place? Yeah.
The same place. So how's his brother there throwing away all his shit?
Yeah.
His other brother's up there, like, sleeping in the car with the cops. And it's like, you guys are right next to one another?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And that just bugged me. From that point on, I was like, this can't be that big of a town. Everyone knows this fucking kid.
Yeah, everyone.
So, like, I don't know.
Yeah. My best of, I think is pretty easy for you to figure out. Going back to my roots, which has to be the part that I said in chat made me go, oh, when it happened, was when the cop dude gets his head blown off by the shotgun. Yeah. And it just came out of nowhere where I was like, oh!
Well, let me ask you. I mean, you could enjoy that part or whatever. It had no place in this movie.
No, it was just there.
Cartoony explosion.
Yeah. It was just there to have a head explosion, which, fair game. And then at least my worst of, like I said, it's so easy to figure out who the killer is. Like, you gotta put something in there to get me off the trail. But like everything pointed at Lee. So, yeah. So
like everyone in this movie was like a horrible, horrible person.
Apparently, right? Yeah.
Like they're all their friends, and they have that poor girl Grinda.
Yeah, something.
And they're like, oh, she gives the guys hand jobs because it makes them happy or whatever. And then later on, she's like, I'll blow you in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Sounds like, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, she's like, she was a sad character. Where like, basically she's like to everyone else, she's the town slut, and like, but then there's another weird thing where like then no one really sees her as a girl. She's just sort of like there because she has that line where she's like, you guys act like you've never seen a girl before, and then she like flips her hair and they're like and they don't, yeah, but she just like what is she, because then she's the first one that the powers work on where she's like, can I eat this donut?
Yeah, I'm a pig, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and I can't remember what her reasoning was, but she's like, this is how people see me anyway or whatever. And so she was kind of like like a sad, I think she's the only one out of Harry's group of friends that he doesn't do anything bad to. Because the cop dude, ends up head blown off. Lee is dead. His brother, he makes him overdose.
Too,
he does make the cop dudes fuck. Trust me, I remember.
I was like, what is this? Like,
what is when they're like arrested them and the one cop dude's like, yeah, I'm gonna think about this later when I whack off. And the dude was like, cool, man, I think about you too when I whack off.
Yeah. I'll think about this later, but both of y'all are gonna be naked.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that made me chuckle. I was like, all right.
So I'm gonna say this, and Maverick might get mad.
Okay.
I'll be sure to message him and tell him.
All right.
I think this is a very simple movie.
Yeah.
Like,
it's very straightforward.
Simple. Yeah, and I think do you remember any comedy in this at all? Other than him making the cops blow each other?
No, I guess maybe they're thinking that it's funny with the girl eating the donuts. But I was like, what is going on?
That's the weird thing is because, I don't think there's very many funny parts in this movie. Maybe, some of the words between the brothers and stuff. But, I'm sure that Maverick thinks it is funny, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe, it's just a taste thing, Like you said in the opening.
Yeah, the fucking "Are you horny?" I was like, what? But they did redeem themselves because then right after that, Harry Potter puts on some Bowie, and I was like, all right, we can be heroes.
Why they only played that song? You think they could just afford that one?
Yeah, I guess that's what. I guess maybe that's supposed to be because then for that day, even though this takes place over the course of a couple days, Harry Potter is the hero. Why? Maybe it's supposed to be he's the villain, and that's why it's ironic because he's the devil incarnate.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like he was the bad guy?
No.
Not once, right?
Yeah, no.
Give us
the only
solid 30 minutes where you think he might have killed her.
Yeah,
sell us on that and
maybe
then go against it.
They have that moment where he's talking about when he first gets the horns and Lee doesn't see him. And he's like, maybe if I can see, think I have horns, maybe I really could just black out and do that. And maybe that's their way of, maybe he did kill her. But yeah, there's never a point that you're like, oh, he killed her,
So if you have Shia LaBeouf in that role, 100% you think he killed her, right?
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf's just fucking nuts.
But you pick a kid that we all watch grow up,
yeah,
right? And there's no way Harry Potter killed that girl.
Yeah. Also, is it just me, or at the beginning of this movie, they have this monologue, this inner monologue or whatever that Daniel Radcliffe does, but it's like they started doing it and then just abandoned it 20 minutes in. He never does it. After he gets the horns, he's done or whatever. But in the very beginning, I swear to God, he had an Irish accent. And then once he starts talking, he's just a normal, no accent. And I was like, did they just get rid of his accent? What was... And then I think, wasn't other people there, British or something? Even I don't know where they were living.
Portland.
Was that where it was?
I remember them saying Portland, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because he's like, I work at a DJ place in Portland. No one is going to miss me.
I did laugh when they have the big thing at breakfast where Harry's parents are telling him to get a different lawyer, and he's like, I don't need a lawyer if I didn't do it, and they look and so he walks out and the brother's like, I got it, and then he walks out and he's like, boop, boop, boop. He's playing the trumpet walking out. That made me laugh. And so the first thing I wrote down was, so trumpet dude killed her, right?
Well, I think it was supposed to be a sad scene. I don't think it was supposed
to be funny. No, it was funny, but
I don't know. Name a trumpet player. I can think of one.
Yeah, I can think of him, but I can't say his name.
Why?
I can't think of his name, but I know him. Wasn't it Louis Armstrong? Wasn't that his name? Yeah. There you go. There was a fucking line in that scene that Daniel Radcliffe said that was terrible, where he goes, "You don't think I'm capable of murder? Put me in the room with the bastard who killed her." And I was like, oh my god. Like,
I was like watching it, and this is the first one in a while that I got like plenty of sleep. I wasn't rushed, even though you guys tried.
we did.
I was like, all right, and I'm sitting there watching this, and I was like, okay, I can finally, relax and enjoy, and, take it in. And I was like, this is the worst shit ever. Like, I gave this movie a 5 just because I assumed that, 6, that, I assume this is the type of movie that you could watch, like, with anybody, you could watch this with your parents or your girlfriend or kids or whatever, right? And the more I think about it, the more I realize it's just a CW show that's a movie.
Yeah.
Right? Like...
yeah. The only thing, I guess, is interesting is you get a bunch of flashbacks through their childhood, and then it's, Harry's going to propose to his girlfriend that night, and she says, she's moving to L.A., and he's like, is there someone else? And she just sort of gives him a look like, yeah, it is. And he's like, did you fuck him already? And he's like yelling. And I didn't catch what she said. It sounded like she said he was better than you or something like that.
He said you deserve better, is what she said.
Oh, and he was like, at least we can agree on one thing or whatever. And so they have this big like argument. And that's why then when she turns up dead the next morning, that's why people assume Harry Potter did it. But... So then throughout the course of the movie, then instantly I'm like, well, Lee is the one that, she... And so then you get a thing where Lee says, we didn't want to tell you about us. And you get flashbacks of them dancing around and him like, it's real cringy, like faked, like have to have fun around each other. And so you're like, so at first you're like, damn, this bitch was, sucking dick on the side. And Harry was, But then as it gets further along, you learn that, she really had cancer and she was leaving Harry because she didn't want him to, like, marry her. And, like, but then Lee legitimately thought she left him for her, or for him, because he thought they had a thing going on. He was like, well, I see, all the stares that are going on. And so that's why he ends up, like, I'm assuming he really raped her. Because when you're under the power of the horns, you're telling the truth. So, rape. Yeah, so rape and kill her or whatever. Yeah. But so I guess that's interesting. The like progression of that is like, why did she really leave? But it is kind of a simple. Oh, I had cancer. I was leaving. I made up a lie so he would hate me.
So let's think about this for a second.
Okay.
How did Harry Potter get his little horn power?
They never explain it. Or do they? Did I? Yeah. No. He just has horns one day.
He breaks that statue and pisses on her grave. And I was like, these are not the actions of an innocent
man. I was like, well, way to clear up your name, Harry. Like.
And then his lawyer ends up being this, like, jujitsu master.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand, like, any of it. Because he's like, yeah, we had this thing on the side, And I'm sorry, but this girl tells him that she's moving to LA, and then they're going to tell him later and stuff like this.
Yeah.
She didn't even tell her dad, who she tells everything to.
Yeah.
And then, for somehow this guy knows. So I'm like, there's like these big holes in the plot, like everywhere. Like, and it just annoys the fuck out of me. Let's talk about the biggest annoyance of the whole fucking movie. And that's this fucking letter. Like, she knew she was gonna die.
Oh, yeah. When she's like, when you're reading this, I won't be alive. It's like,
yeah, and I was like, was she gonna kill herself? No, she was just going.
Yeah, it's like, he could have found this the next day.
Yeah, like, and it was written in Morse code, and this was like a fucking front and back letter, normal written. So I'm like, this thing had to be 72 pages if it was Morse code.
Yeah.
Like, one word is like beep, dash, dash, beep, beep, beep. That's I, And you're like...
Yeah. Did you notice because I noticed it once, but I didn't put it together, and then I read it, and I was like, oh, okay. which is the apparently anytime something dramatic or something's happening to Harry in the background, you can see like logs or a log truck, and it's supposed to be because of that time he almost drowned under the logs at the fucking thing. Which the only time I noticed it was when Lee was saying that they were together, and I saw a log truck in the back, and they made sure it was like there, to the point that I was like, "What's the deal with that log truck?" But then I guess apparently it's all over the movie, and I just missed it the rest of the time. But that pissed me off when fucking the kid's like, go down the thing naked into the water, and then motherfucking Harry is up there in his undies, and I was like, "That's not naked, kid." And then funny enough, they do the whole thing where he's like almost drowning. Lee goes in and saves him. And dude's like, "Give me the cherry bomb back," or whatever it was. And fucking dude's like, "No way, I said you had to be naked. You were wearing underpants." And I was like, "I told you." Like, yeah. And then there's a thing within that little cherry bomb. Lee fixes the girl's necklace. And fucking Harry trades him the cherry bomb for the necklace so he can give it to the girl, and it blows up in his hand, so he's missing 2 fingers, which never really plays a big part in the story. Well, I guess it's maybe
like a little brace or whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess maybe it's so like to have a reason for him to be like, I lost my fingers for her to have her necklace or something. I saw someone online say because then his fingers are in the devil horns. Because he's missing. And I was like, I don't think that was intentional. Apparently in the book, he lost an eye to the cherry bomb, not his fingers or whatever.
So if you had it to where the guy, like, because she was obviously interested in Harry Potter, right?
Yeah.
So if you had it to where, like, both of them had a chance with this girl.
Yeah.
And then dude got horribly disfigured and lost an eye and hand and whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then you could see like the jealousy building, right? But this had nothing to do with anything. Like,
again, baby.
I'm gonna change my answer to the best part of this movie.
Oh, okay. Changing it up.
Yeah, I'm not going with the transformation. The best part of this movie was his doctor.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
That was the best part. So he puts him under an anesthesia. And then he comes to with a fucking saw sticking out of his horn. And he's just banging the nurse.
Yeah.
He was like, "You kind of said it was okay." He was like, "I was unconscious." He was like, "You kind of nodded a little."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, okay."
That's
the only funny part of this movie.
Yeah. There's
how funny it was because I forgot it. Until just,
yeah. There was that part where at the beginning where the kid's screaming and shit, and this is when you started learning what's going on, and you can hear him. And the kid's like, "I want to burn up mommy. I want to light her on fire." And I was like, okay. But I have this written down to see if it jogs your memory, because I don't remember what it is. All it says is, "We can get fucked up together."
That's the doctor. Because he's like, hey, when he first sees him, he's like, "You want to crush up some oxy?"
That's it, yeah. And Thomas put a lol next to it, so he liked that line. Right after that, they play "Where Is My Mind?" Shout out, "Where Is My Mind?"
Good song.
A good song.
Unfortunately, it's the only song that people know by the Pixies, so...
Yeah.
Because they have all of this great music, but...
Yeah.
That's because of Fight Club, mostly, but...
Yeah, fucking Fight Club. Still never watched it. But
really?
Yeah, never watched Fight Club. It's one of the movies where it's like, well, I know, spoiler, I know Brad Pitt isn't real. So it's just sort of like,
I don't know if you need to say spoiler for that. I think you're the only person in the world who hasn't seen it.
Yeah. I'm the only one.
You'll probably really like it, though. But,
probably. But I like Edward Norton and shit, so.
It's his best movie ever. Well, American History X is really good.
Never watched it.
You can't talk about it. Really?
Never watched it, yeah.
You need to watch it.
I was meant to, but then they took it off Netflix when I went to go watch it, and I was like, oh, shit. Yeah. But I'm just looking through. Oh, I thought he looked... So you get a thing where you learn that Lee is wearing... At first, he sees Lee wearing the girl's necklace at the restaurant, and that's when he's like, "Oh, she gave it to me," you know. And that's when Harry's like, "Oh, you were the guy she was cheating on me with, or whatever." So then, later, he, like, rips the chain off of his neck. And that's all of a sudden when Lee's like, what are those things on your head? And he's like, oh, so the necklace was protecting him. So that's when he finds out Lee fucking killed the girlfriend and stuff. And then Lee, like we said, he just grabs a chain and just, like, whips Harry across the face.
Like a large chain.
Yeah, that I feel like would have done a lot more damage than... But so then he puts Harry into the car, and he's like, I always wanted to do this. And I was like, what? And he, like, pours gas in him, and he lights him up, and you get, like, Harry, like, burn. But then he left the keys in there. So Harry, like, just turns on the car and drives into the water. And so then, over the news, you hear that, he,
confessed
and killed himself, but they didn't find a body. And so you're like, well, obviously, he's not dead. There's also when you see the brother in the hospital, because keep in mind, Harry said, I'm not going to kill you, but then made him overdose on copious amounts of drugs, which I was like, well, then you just left him there. I was like, wouldn't that just kill him? But, he lives.
I don't know about copious. I mean, that's just a Tuesday for me.
Yeah. And so he then shows up at the girlfriend's dad house again. And I thought he looked really cool when he was all burned up and shit.
He had like a white eye. And
stuff. And I was like, damn, they should keep him like this the rest of the movie. But then the dad's like, I wanted you dead, but then I heard you were dead and it did nothing for me. And now instantly the dad's like, you didn't really kill her, did you?
Son.
Yeah. And he gives him the necklace, and then Harry Potter puts on the necklace, and then all his burns go away and his horns go away, and now he's back to boring Daniel Radcliffe. And I was like, oh, man. Yeah.
It was so bad.
But then later, at the part that originally you said was the best, where he rips it off and he, like, flies up in the air with the wings, and then he burns and comes back down. And at this point, he's, like, just a straight-up devil. Like, he's, like, looks like molten lava. Yeah, and, like... And he's, like, going towards Lee, and you're like, fuck yeah, Harry looks cool as fuck. And then Lee just grabs the pitchfork and is like,
No, that's the stupid part of this fucking movie. Yeah. He shoots him 3 times with a shotgun.
Yeah.
And he's like, nope.
Yeah.
And then he's like, pointy stick. And
he's
like,
And, and then Harry, like, charges him, and so a horn goes through his stomach, which then you get the drawn out where all these snakes come time up, and then one snake, like, goes through his stomach, out the back, comes up, and then goes through his mouth. And it was one of them where they're like, we're going to gross people out with this. And it was like...
This is a kill envisioned by, like, a 4th grader.
This is like back in the day when you would create your own fatalities.
Yeah.
You're like, I'd have a snake go through the mouth.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah. And then, so Devil Harry Potter looked cool. Then he, like, walked towards him looking real menacing. Then got fucking bitched out by a pitchfork. And then he, like, got a lucky hit on him with his horn. And then he dies. And then the last shot, I guess, is supposed to be them, the Harry Potter and the girlfriend together. But it's just the beginning of the movie again at the end. Are you horny? Yeah. And so, yeah.
Harry Potter turns to ash, and he looks fucking horrible.
Yeah.
It is the worst. I'm like, what is this? Yeah. To be fair, maybe not many people look good as Ash.
Yeah. You want to know who looked good as Ash? The fucking, spoiler, for 1408. The little girl from 1408 who, like, just busts into Ash.
That's what, like, you... See, we watched 1408. And that was a man who was stuck in hell, living through, like, hell or whatever. This guy gets turned into the devil, and his life, everything goes great for him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what? Like, I don't even understand. And let's not look past the point of him sleeping with that girl at the bar. After his girlfriend was murdered, 2 weeks prior or whatever. And it's like, well, this dude's banging chicks on the side. Did he really deserve this lady?
Yeah.
Another thing is, they made everyone love this girl so much that I ended up hating her.
Yeah, because everyone liked her so much.
Oh, she was the best. And then, like, everyone was in love with her and stuff. I actually like the trashy girl more than I do the main character.
I felt bad for her because just,
I was like, she's the real hero.
Yeah. Also, we haven't mentioned Harry Potter's real name in this movie. His name's fucking Ig. Well, I get it's Iggy, but they just call him Ig the whole time, and I was like, okay.
Well, there's supposed to be, what's the Dave Bowie? Iggy Stardust?
Iggy Stardust is, yeah.
That's probably what his parents named it. Because his dad was a famous musician. He had all the records on the wall.
Yeah, he's like, with your brother, it was easier. I could just play music with him or whatever.
Let's talk about his mom. How she was like, hey, I've hated you. I hate you every day.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to listen to your problems.
And then she's like, I'm just going to hold my breath. And then he's like, no, don't do it. And I'm like, fucking idiot. You can't kill it. Like,
yeah.
Who can hold the...
Yeah. But
I was like, this is the cringiest cringe
ever. I wrote down fucking Lee when Harry's walking towards him as the devil or whatever. He pulls the old Ric Flair where he gets down on his knees. And he's like, no, which I gave props to Lee for pulling the old Ric Flair.
Lee was, like I said, somehow, I mean, apparently between going through law school and pining after Homegirl, decided that he was going to learn how to fight everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. The only guy I felt bad for when the brother was having to go through and do all the drug. I farted. When the brother was having his little trippy deal, and that's when you get that one shot of Harry Potter like looking like a fucking monster, where he's like at the guy.
Yeah, because he has like the devil acid, and
yeah. I get the brother. We see the brother was like kind of trying to bang Homegirl after she broke up with dude, and obviously he like threw away evidence that she was and didn't call the police and stuff. But there was something where I was like, I don't know if he really deserves all this that you're doing to him, Harry. And then Harry is like, having to do that was the hardest thing I ever done. But he had to face his demons to become a better person. I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah. That's what a guy says when he beats the shit out of his wife.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this, but I had to, so you would learn.
Yeah, look at what you made me do.
Yeah, good one on you, Harry.
Yeah.
Let's look at this from a different point of view.
Okay.
So you're supposed to feel sorry for this Harry guy, and he, goes to heaven, meets whatever. I don't know if it's heaven, could be hell, because I have a feeling that lady was real high maintenance. But anyways, they had this group of kids, and they were like best buds, right? Blowing shit up, having fun, everything was great. And then Harry meets this girl, and then like they make a point of showing it. So like he turns on his best friend Lee, who literally saved his life days before.
Lost fingers because of him.
Apparently hates Meatbag later on because he's a cop or whatever, so they all shit on him. Because it's weird that one guy's an attorney, like public defense, and the other one's a cop. So it's like he took the opposite stance of his other. But anyways.
Yeah. And
there's a scene where he shows him like the secret clubhouse. He like shows his girlfriend, and it shows the brother like on his bike, and he's like,
yeah, he's like, because that was just supposed to be for them.
And then the other girl who loved him her whole life.
Yeah.
So, like, Harry met one girl and then turned his back on everybody else.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, well, this guy's a piece of shit. There has to be more people deserving of horn power than this little piece of shit kid. Like,
yeah.
I realize booby, but.
Yeah.
Like, there was no downside to it. He's like, I look like a monster. Oh, well. And then, like, the rest of the movie, everything was fine.
Yeah. And I guess that's how they... Because I remember thinking, like, how's he going to get away with... For some reason, I remember the old trailer or box art of seeing this was Harry with the horns, like, up in a window in an attic. And I remember thinking he was going to be, like, some weird... Like, I don't know, but I remember being like, how's he going to get away with walking around with these horns? And then the movie was like, oh, well, just because people, they fall under the spell. Yeah, and like the doctor's like, well, when I look away from you, it's kind of like I forget you have them. And then he like looks back or whatever. So, yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna challenge you. Do you think the book was 100 times better than this movie?
Probably. I've never read any of Stephen King's kid, Joe Hill or whatever his fucking name is.
So Well, this isn't the challenge. Yeah, I was going to challenge you to read the book.
I'll read the book.
Go back and let us know.
Yeah.
Other part of it is, does this not remind you of the Losers Club in the beginning?
Yeah, it totally does.
And when you told me it was Stephen King's kid, I was like,
you were like, it all makes sense.
He's still riding Daddy's coattails in a different way.
Yeah, it has a fucking Losers Club thing going for it.
And they even had the slutty girl who sleeps with everybody.
Yeah, that part they don't add in the movie. Go read the books, kids, if you want to find out what we're talking about.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I gave this a 6 just because it's an easy watch.
And
it's all-star crew cast. Like, Heather Graham was the waitress. What a fucking slap in the face. That lady was, like, starring in roles.
Yeah.
And now she's, like, a 2-bit waitress. Like,
yeah.
8 minutes of screen time?
Yeah. Like I said, like, I gave it a 5 because, like, it wasn't for me. But I can see that it's, like, it's not a bad movie. But for me and you, we're like, not for... But I can get how this is, like, people like this movie. So I can get how it's a good movie.
I don't see anyone on the planet or anywhere saying this is a good movie. Like, I understand watching this on TNT at, like, 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And not feeling like you wasted, 4 hours at, 3 a.m.
Uh-huh.
But, like...
if you're like, hey, man, you should check out Horns.
Yeah, no one would ever suggest this movie. Like, when Maverick... it might just be my hatred for Maverick. But, like, when he was suggesting it, he was like, it's really good. You're going to like it. And I'm like, really good is not what I would describe. Like...
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a movie I've seen that I think's really good. Like, Peaky Blinders is a TV show. It's not a thing. It's a really good show. Right? Like, I would suggest that to anyone. I would never suggest this to, like I said, this is like a CW movie. Did you look up the stats on it and everything, or no?
I saw what the box office was, I think, but I couldn't find a budget for it, which is weird. Usually you can find a budget, but not a box office.
So it had a bunch of really big stars in it. It had special effects. I'm going to say it was probably like 6 million.
Box office, it made $3.9 million.
I mean, I'm sure it costs more than that.
If only I could find out. Which, I don't... This is one of the movies where I'm not sure if it, like, went to a lot of theaters, but still,
Well, okay, I watched it on Netflix, and like you.
Yep, I did as well.
Was it a Netflix original?
No. I don't think Netflix was even doing originals back then.
That's right, because it's like 10 years old.
That might have been back when Netflix was still fucking, we send it in the mail, yeah.
But I don't, like I said, I've given it a high score because, like, there wasn't a point during the whole thing where I wanted to get on my phone or, like, I didn't understand what was going on or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And I say high score, but 6 isn't a high
6,
score.
yeah, 6 is like a passable grade.
Yeah, so, like, but the more I think about it and, like, criticize it and look for kernels that I actually enjoy.
Yeah, like, when he picked it, I remember me and you both were like, we knew what it was, but we were like, we never sought it out. We were like, we never want to watch this shit. I don't feel like I wasted my time watching it, but, like I said, it's not... I won't watch it again. Like,
yeah, like ever. Like, I wanted to watch Swiss Army Man.
Yeah, I wanted to watch Swiss Army Man too.
But now that I've seen this, I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, like, Swiss Army Man, but he doesn't talk in that. He's just a dead dude. So.
Like, half of his acting when he was drunk. Like, okay. Side note.
Uh-huh.
I drink a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot. Like, I don't want to be like, I'm an alcoholic. People in movies drink hard liquor like it's nothing. And I have no clue how they do it.
Yeah, it's like, I'm like,
yeah, like... And then, I can understand someone taking a shot and being like, all right, that's cool.
Uh-huh.
But, like, always... And this is just movies, not this movie.
Yeah.
Well, this movie, too. But, like... They're just like guzzling from the bottle and stuff. I'm like, how?
Yeah. By the way, this is Daniel Radcliffe's third movie he made after Harry Potter ended. So
what was it? What was his other two?
Fucking, it was some shitty. I don't know. Also, can we? I was gonna say I wanted to see Swiss Army Man, and then he made that like Guns Akimbo movie from like 2 years ago, and I remember being like, "This looks like shit." I think Bags watched it, where the guns were like nailed to his hands. I think.
Yeah.
But so he made a movie called The Woman in Black. The Woman in Black might be the movie that I'm thinking of, with the thing in the attic and him like looking out. And then he had a movie called Kill Your Darlings. And then he made Horns. Which, Kill Your Darlings and Horns came out the same year, so who knows which one he shot first. But I think The Woman in Black is the one that I was thinking of.
I don't know. I mean, Emma Watson does pretty good in her like endeavors.
I can't think of another movie. Like, I know she was in Beauty and the Beast, but I never watched it.
It's a classic.
She was in This Is the End. I liked her part in that. Have you heard apparently there's like some drama over that, where she didn't like that part or something like that?
Yeah.
Or maybe like Seth Rogen, some interview got misconstrued where she said she wasn't comfortable with it, but Seth Rogen pushed her into doing it. But then I think later they were both like, no, that's not what she said, or something like that.
Yeah, she said she wouldn't do another movie with him, and he was like, fair enough.
Yeah, he was like, fair game. Like,
yeah.
The only one who's that lady that was in Juno?
I can't. Whoa! How dare you?
Oh, what?
That is Elliot Page. How dare you shame his name?
But he was like, I hate that fucking movie. I can't believe I was in it. And this is like 10 years after it come out. And Seth Rogen was like, we had nothing but good times. Like, you were like all in on it. What happened? And I remember from that moment on, I was like, I don't like that guy. Like, something about, even though I'm not a big Seth Rogen
the right movie at all.
Is it not?
Ashley Judd from 40-Year-Old Virgin is the one you're talking about.
No.
Or the chick from Knocked Up.
Knocked Up, yeah.
Not the girl from Judo.
Sorry.
Or the guy from Judo. How does that work?
Don't talk about it. Let's move on. Knocked Up. Let's see who this one was in Knocked Up.
It's Ashley Judd, I think.
It's Katherine Heigl.
Yeah.
And I think she was the one that was like, I hate that movie.
Yeah.
And he was like, cool. we had a good time. But anyway, I haven't watched this.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, it's. So I'm gonna hit you with another fastball.
Okay.
So in the beginning, you said that Shia LaBeouf was, that's who they wanted.
That's who they wanted, yeah.
And I was like, probably would have been a better movie.
Maybe.
Do you think that if they got anybody to play this part, it would have been better than beloved child actor Harry Potter Daniel Radcliffe?
I don't. Because like I said, I think Daniel Radcliffe was the weakest link of the movie, and he's the star. So maybe that contributes to why we didn't like it. So maybe if someone else had a better performance, it would improve like the other shit we didn't like about the movie. But I still don't know if I would like it. But it can only get better, right? Well, I say that. Who knows? Shia LaBeouf, who knows what he would have come with this movie.
Like you turn it on, Tom Hanks is them. And you're like, what?
Yeah. But he's doing the Forrest Gump accent the whole time.
So is Mav a Harry Potter fan?
I don't know.
I think he is. I think he read all those books and all.
I don't think he read the books. I know he read the Hunger Games, but we read them in school. Yeah. I'm a Harry Potter. I get down on some Harry Potter. I bought Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings at the same time on Amazon, like Black Friday sale, and I bought like the Blu-ray pack of both of them or whatever. And forever, I remember like I would shit on Harry Potter, and like I would think Lord of the Rings was cool, right? I'm gonna be honest. I watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I could take it or leave it. Like, it had its moments, but I'm not a huge fan. The Hobbit movies, I think, are better than the Lord of the Ring movies. The orcs in Lord of the Rings look a lot cooler because they're real people and they like. But I watched Harry Potter. I got sucked the fuck into those movies. I was all for them. Like,
it's pretty good up to like, I don't know which one it is, but when Dobbs or whatever gets freed at the end.
Yeah, like
And then after that, it's
fucking what part 3 is that Escape from Azkaban, or what's that title? But that movie's fucking great. Like,
I think that's the one though, where a dude escapes it, where he gives him the master gave me clothing.
No, that happens. I don't think Dobby was even introduced at that point. Dobby, I think, is a later. It might be.
But like after that one, they just get kind of bad.
Yeah.
But it's because they're growing up, right? Like before, you're seeing a story about kids, and you're like, "This is legit shit."
Yeah.
And then you're like, "They're fucking." They end up being 17, and you're like, "What is this?"
Well, I remember it gets crazy because then maybe the next one, Robert Pattinson's in, and he's like the golden boy. But then that's when Voldemort pops up, and spoiler, they fucking kill Robert Pattinson, and like it's a big thing, and that's when they're like, okay, Voldemort is real, and like, you know, he's coming back or whatever.
But I think that's the Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, I think, because that was the whole, they were having the tour. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Harry's name is like added into it. And they're like, that's when you get the Dumbledore, did you put your name? But anyway.
In the book, apparently, I saw a meme about that.
Yeah, where it was like, he calmly asked.
Yeah, calmly asked. And then he's like, did you put your name in?
Yeah. So, anyway. Alright, hey, next week, it's old Tommy's pick. And I'm going with a blind pick this week of a movie that I've been wanting to watch for a while. From 2017, I think. Called It Comes at Night.
Hey, my life story.
Yeah. Which I picked because the trailer looks fucking interesting. And it's an A24 movie. Which they're the production company that makes fucking Uncut Gems and Hereditary and The Lighthouse and all those fucking movies. So Maverick's gonna hate the movie because he's hated. Well, no, Hereditary is one of his favorites, but The Lighthouse he despised. Which I still can't get over how Hereditary is one of his favorites, but so anyway, next week, It Comes at Night. I think I'm saying that title right. I'm gonna look it up just to make sure. But I'm pretty sure. That has no one. The only guy I know in it is the main guy. Which, like I said,
he's kind of like a background character in most of things.
Yeah, he kind of looks like I don't want to say bootleg, but bootleg version of the White Cop in True Detective Season 3. Yeah.
Season 3?
Yeah.
Well, the White Cop's not even a main character in that movie.
Well, no, he's like...
He kind of is.
He's the partner, yeah.
Yeah, because later on, he's in it, like, a lot.
Yeah. But, anyway. So next week...
But yeah, he's the Costco version of a good actor.
Yeah. No, he's going to be great. I am getting close to...
You know who he reminds me of?
Who's that?
The guy from Wonder Woman.
Oh, really? Yeah. I never made that connection.
Well, no, not that he looks like him or nothing, but he's just a guy who's in a bunch of shit. But
yeah.
He would never, I think, Chris Pine?
Chris Pine, yeah. Something like that.
What was this shirt you're wearing? What is this?
It's Evil Dead 2.
I know, you actually wear it. Usually you just wear a basic shirt.
But, anyway. I am getting close to, well, not close, because I got some other movies lined up that I'm going to pick first. But I'm getting pretty close to picking The Thing. And having us finally watch The Thing. Which only reminded because this dude's in the remake. That's not really a remake because it turns out, spoiler, that it's like a prequel to The Thing. But they just call it The Thing. So. But
you're talking about John Carpenter's, right?
Yeah, John Carpenter, yeah.
So good.
Yeah. What's the original call? It's like The Thing from Outer Space or something. It has an extra couple words.
Well, no, there's just the original Thing that came out in like the 1950s.
Yeah, but
it's so good.
It's called something else, though. It's still The Thing, but it has like another name.
So I watched it like super hungover at like age 17.
The Thing from Another World. That's what it is.
And like there's a scene, spoiler for a movie that came out fucking 80
years ago. Is this the 51 version?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And like they have these pallets and it's electrified and they're waiting to flip the switch, but he's not walking on the pallets.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy grabs his axe and he was like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." And you're like, "Holy shit, this guy's about to go head to head with this mutant guy with an axe." No, he takes it, he throws it on the ground at his feet, so the thing jumps on the wood to get out of the way. And it was like, ah, and I was like, I didn't see that coming at all. And it's really badly done. It's so good.
Yeah.
But I like, maybe that's it. Maybe I like the bad, cheesy shit more than I like these like high polished movies.
Yeah. Okay.
But I love A Quiet Place, and that's as polished as it gets, right?
Well, you say that, but then when we watched it for the chat, I think you gave it like a 3 or something. So, Quiet Place 2 coming soon. Check that out. It's got
I don't remember what I gave it, but yeah, like I mean, I enjoy that movie. It just made me cry a lot, so I can't give it a good score.
Whip out the old journal.
I know one movie that's high polished that I fucking absolutely hated.
Which one's that?
Bird Box.
Did you ever watch it?
Yeah, we haven't watched it for the cast.
Yeah, because me and Maverick watched it. I remember you and Bags had it. And me and Maverick were like, why do people like this movie? Like... Anyway. Yeah, I didn't like that one. So, shout out to that. I can't find it.
I'm picking it next. You can't find it. What? How much stuff you have written in this book?
There's like 4 pages. There's the new page I started. There's the page after it. There's like... Okay, let's see.
Hey, you have Amazon Prime, right?
Yeah.
How about you order a fucking ruler so those lines don't look
Listen, dude. Hold on, I'm gonna find it. Quiet Place. Thomas gave it a 7.
It's a really good movie.
Tyler gave it a 2.
Well, I think I watched it and I found like a big hole in it.
We both like. I still liked it, but we were like, what's the deal with all this shit? So.
That and it was like my 5th time watching it.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
excited about the new one coming out.
Yeah, I still don't know like if it's a sequel or a prequel.
It's after.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like civilization has been rebuilt, I guess. But.
Well, they're rebuilding. I saw a thing where he was like being interviewed, John Krasinski, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how directing his wife is an amazing thing because she's the best actress ever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I have to say this so I don't have to sleep on the couch.
Yeah.
And I was like, good on you, bud.
Yeah.
Like, at least you realize. So.
Anyway, all right. Well, thanks for listening to the Horns podcast. I don't remember if I said the episode number at the beginning. Episode number 48.
So I think we should try to do something where Maverick wasn't able to be here because his girlfriend was smashed his head in with a rock.
Yeah.
But, unlike this movie, he just did it.
Yeah, he did
it. Yeah, it was like, we don't even pretend like he didn't. We're like, we all know you did it, Ig. So, I wonder if we can get him to record like a 2-minute review and we can just throw it on the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it is his pick, but if he gets it in on time. But,
yeah,
guy does work a lot.
All right, well, thanks for watching or listening. However you're digesting this. I said it again.
How does Spotify do? Have you looked at those numbers yet?
They're doing all right.
I never.
They don't do. YouTube does way better than I ever thought it would. But Spotify, we're breaking like 1,000 streams or something like that.
That's not bad.
So no, it's not bad. But yeah, go check out the overtime from earlier in this week. Texas Chainsaw 4. Little peek behind the curtain. I just edited the first part of that fucking 3 hours ago. It's a pretty good episode. So go listen to it if you haven't already. Next week, It Comes at Night. And, yeah, Tyler.
How many more jokes are we going to make about, hey, it's Mavericks,
yeah.
I think we got them all done, but next week, who knows? So.
Yeah. Come